The 50mm Midas once stood unchallenged as the single most powerful sword in all of Hypixel Skyblock, until Floor 7 of the Catacombs opened, introducing the Hyperion, the mage-based blade that would dethrone the Midas sword. And the Hyperion remained the most sought-after weapon and the single most expensive item in the game, not counting exotics and admin items, of course. However, that changed this summer with the addition of the Enderman Slayer bosses, which brought forth the Terminator, a bow that could instantly shoot 3 arrows at once with no cooldown, and is basically the Juju short bow if the Juju short bow was a hyperactive 9-year-old boy with an uncontrollable cocaine addiction. Oh wait, I can't mention drugs or I'll get
demonetized.
Instantly, the Terminator became the weapon with the highest DPS in the entire game and completely flipped the meta for late and end game progression. Issue was, with an initial price tag of over 1.5 billion coins, more than triple the price of the Hyperion at that time, this bow was reserved only for the few players who could afford it. This was never a big issue for me personally, because when the Terminator was released, I was still running floor 6 of the Catacombs, and had no need for a weapon of such high caliber and DPS. Difference is, things have changed. My perm party has begun setting their sights on Master Mode Floor 5, and my prior experiences with them on Master Mode 3 as a Juju Non gave me all the evidence that without a Terminator, I would be absolutely useless in Master Mode. This came at perfect timing because the Terminator has dropped to almost half of its peak value, at around 800 million coins for a clean, unenchanted version of the weapon. And that is where the quest for Terminator began. Although Terminator's value had dropped significantly, 800 million coins was no small sum of money. And I wasn't about to buy some normal Terminator. I wanted a 9-star Terminator, complete with Soul Eater 5, Overload 5, Vicious 5, and Power 6 at the very least, which would cost me well over 1 billion coins. And so, after months of saving with various money-making methods and doing some pretty questionable things on stream that made my mother second guess if maybe putting me up for adoption would have been the right choice, I finally saved up enough money to buy a Terminator. There was only one more problem. The Terminator has a requirement of Enderman Slayer 7, and at this point, I was only Enderman Slayer 3. Enderman Slayer 7 became one of the most daunting and grueling challenges I have ever taken on in Skyblock. I mean, Heart of the Mountain 7 took me a couple weeks to grind, but it was really just mindless mining while watching Netflix. Battling the Void Gloom Seraph Slayer boss would require my full focus, especially because the tier 4 actually 2-taps me if I don't have Wither Shield active. The moment I hit Enderman Slayer 4, I spared no expense when purchasing the Final Destination set, opting for as much defense as I could possibly get. But at this point, I brought in a secret weapon. You see, I live by a philosophy in Skyblock. Why do something when someone else can do it for you? Introducing Inezi, Slayer of Void Glooms, Seducer of Women, Dealer of Cocaine,
Demonetized.
Candy. I meant Candy. Initially, Nez and I were pretty confident he could kill a tier 4 Void Gloom since he had done it dozens of times before. What we didn't know was that the Final Destination armor set was actually bugged, giving none of the additional defense necessary to survive Void Gloom damage. Because of this, the set of Final Destination I was wearing was rendered useless, and Nez became unable to survive more than a few seconds as the tier 4 would kill him in less than 3 hits. Finally, the bug was fixed a few weeks later, and at this point I had hit Enderman Slayer 6, allowing me to use the Atom Split Katana, the best possible sword in the game for Void Glooms. But the real challenge was hitting Enderman Slayer 7, which would take about 160 tier 4 bosses or 800 tier 3 bosses. I had also gotten an Overflux Power Orb and Reaper Scythe for tank zombie summons, and at a surface level, it seemed like I'd have no issues soloing a tier 4. Yeah, I couldn't kill a tier 4 Enderman boss. Even with a Witherblade, Overflux, summons, and all the healing items one could need, I struggled with surviving the onslaught of the boss. And so Nez and I devised a plan. He would assist me with tier 4s whenever he was online, and I'd do tier 3s on my own when he wasn't. With this system, I was on track to hit Enderman Slayer 7 within a week. But that didn't happen. I had final exams creeping up and had to put it all on hold. December 17th, 2021. The beginning of my winter break. I was determined to acquire the Terminator and be able to use it before returning to college. And so while everyone was out partying, making out with hot girls, and not being bums, Nez and I spent our New Year's Eve and New Year's Day grinding Enderman Slayer till 5 AM in the morning. At this point, I could actually kill a tier 4 Void Gloom, but I was at home, and for some reason, my Wi-Fi was so bad, I bet George Washington had better ping defeating the British. After a lot of monster energies, coffee, and some really weird conversations, I had hit Enderman Slayer 7. And it was actually pretty strange because I bought the Terminator before hitting this milestone. There was a pretty good deal on the auction house the day before, and I didn't want to pass it up. Okay, so I finally finished the E-Man 7 grind a few weeks ago, and I have been using the Terminator in Master Mode. It is one of the best weapons I have ever used during my career in Skyblock. But also, over the course of my journey to Enderman Slayer 7, I acquired just a few null spheres. Just a few. And not only this, but I also got 8 summoning eyes, a ton of Twilight Arrow poison. I also have some Smarty Pants books, and I just want to see just how much all of this combined would sell for. So let's create a sell offer. A full inventory of these right now is like 1.5 mil, and I have several inventories of these. So I'm just gonna skip to when I have all of these set up. Okay, so I just found out that selling them instantly is not only faster, but I barely lose any money by selling instantly. So I'm just gonna sell all of these instantly. Okay, this instant sell is gonna put me above 1 bill purse. That's pretty satisfying to see it. That was quite a substantial amount just from the null spheres themselves, but I also have a bunch of enchanted books and all these summoning eyes to put up onto the auction house. These are 1.1 mil each, which is crazy. I remember when I just started playing this game and they were like 600k each, so pretty crazy that they're worth that much. I also have some Twilight Arrow poison to sell. These are best sold straight up to the NPC. I have 2 handy blood chalices, which are 2.2 mil each currently. I'm gonna combine these Smarty Pants books. I don't know if this is even the smartest move, but it's gonna make them a lot easier to sell than individually. I also have several Mana Steel books that I'm just gonna put up real quick. And finally, I have 2.24 mil more in null spheres in my Slayer sack, as well as everything else that has gone into my sacks while I've been grinding E-Man, totaling 22.1 million coins. Most of that is enchanted diamonds. I'm just gonna insta-sell that as well. Oh, that was satisfying. That was satisfying, getting rid of everything in all of my sacks. Okay, I've said sacks enough times for one video now. In total, from all of the drops that Nez and I got throughout my quest to E-Man 7, it totaled to about 70 million coins. So that's a pretty fair sum of money right there. But yeah, I just wanted to show that before the end of the video.